Morning to you.
Good morning.
Rachel, should the Lakers trade AD before this year's trade deadline, or I should say at this year's trade deadline?
No, I would absolutely, positively not trade AD. And the reason is, I know who Anthony Davis is. Anthony Davis, people who are looking for him to be one of the greats of all time, he is not that guy. He is great. He is an NBA champion. He is a terrific player, but he is not one of the greats. If you look around the league and you look at the 1-2 punches we have around the NBA, he's one of the best number twos out there, right? But if you look at the big men who are the greats, right, who are going to go down of this era and say, those are the guys, the Jokic's, right, the Giannis's, he is not that guy. I know who he is. He's been playing in this league for a dozen years. And people who are expecting him to be someone he's not are the ones who are disappointed. Take a look at Klay Thompson, right? Well, thank you, Key. I want you to look at Klay Thompson, right? He is a guy who is one of the best shooters to ever do it, ever. And he is someone who can go out and win you a playoff game, even key a series. Game 6 Klay, baby, right? But on those Warriors championship teams, he was not Steph Curry. He was not Kevin Durant. And Anthony Davis is not LeBron James. And by the way, that is okay for him to be in that role if that is what you are expecting him to be. Most teams do not have a number one best player on a championship team player and then another one of those guys next to him. Those are called super teams. The Lakers are not a super team. They are a team with one of the best to ever do it and a guy who is an excellent complement to him. And if you try to go out and trade him at the deadline, you are not getting back someone who is more than just an excellent complement to LeBron James. You're not getting Giannis. You're not getting Jokic. You're not getting one of the greats.
You're very demoralizing in this situation, Rachel, because
facts, baby.
You say you know who AD is. Well, we're starting to learn who AD is, right? And you mentioned, which is very smart and astute of you, to say, hey, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson is not Steph Curry. But here's what I would say to combat that. We were never told that Klay Thompson was Steph Curry, okay? We were never, ever sold that. We were told that Anthony Davis was the next guy coming as soon as LeBron decided to bronze his shoes.
And real quick, Steph never passed the mantle.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah, he never. As soon as LeBron decided, hey, I'm going to bronze these shoes and put them up in the closet, here you go, Anthony Davis. In such as, you know, Rachel, covering this stuff in sports forever, the money talks, okay? And then you go out there and you pay him as if he is the number one guy in Batman. And so when we look at that, he's making the same amount of money as Giannis. So what does that tell me? I need you to be Giannis.
Okay, but look, Jaylen Brown got a huge contract this offseason. Is he the number one on that team, or is it Jason Tatum?
But you never told me that. You see what I'm saying? When you tell me something, as a fan or somebody who watches the sport, looking at it, you're selling me that Anthony Davis is the guy. You've been doing this. We gave up everybody to go get this dude. You don't give up everybody to go get a complimentary piece. That you just don't.
How many other number twos around the league would you put at his level?
Number twos around the league that I would put at his level. I would say Jaylen Brown is one.
Sure.
Well, Tyrese Maxey is certainly pushing himself into that category. Who else, Skip? Let me think in my mind.
You're not coming up with 24.
Okay, Kyrie, if he's the
Kyrie. I mean, I can find Dame Lillard if you want to use Dame.
All right.
I can find guys. But when you match play for pay, it doesn't add up. Then when I look at the assets...
talk about how much Damian Lillard's making?
Yeah, but Dame Lillard, come on, man. He carried a team by himself up in Portland for how long?
I'm just saying.
I mean, come on, Rachel.
You're the one who bringing up money.
But not even necessarily. I don't care really much about the money. All I'm saying is, you know how it goes. You follow the breadcrumbs in the trail of money based on who a player is. He gets paid a certain amount of money. I'm always thinking based on what we gave up to go get him, all of those sort of things, what's been told to me over the last several years that he's the guy, he's the guy, he's the guy. Every single year since we came out of that bubble, this conversation in the month of December comes up about Anthony Davis being on the move. You say no. I don't know if it's a no. You can't do it till after February 4th, but I don't know if it's a no. If we can get the complementary pieces to go with him, maybe there's a Zach LaVine, maybe there's expiring DeMar DeRozan. I don't know. But he needs to play better than he played last damn night.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So here's the problem with AD as the clear-cut number 2. There are so many shocking nights when he doesn't even play like a number 2. There are so many nights when he's not even Robin. I don't know who he is. Last night, I knew from jump, he's just out of it. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I'm sure LeBron tried to punch every button. I'm sure Darvin tried to push every button. And some nights you just can't push his buttons. And I got to show the play again because it just sums up AD last night and many inexplicable nights. This is 2:27 left in the second quarter. And LeBron says, here, dunk this. Just dunk this. And it goes right through his hands.
See, the loafing down the floor to me until LeBron looked at him. That to me makes me mad, Rachel. Just as an athlete and a fan, put them together, watching that makes me mad.
But Key, as an athlete, you know that half of your skill set is your physical gifts, right? But what is the other half? Your approach to the game, right?
Yes.
And you guys were sitting up here with Michael Irvin earlier this morning saying, man, you were a killer, man. You were a Hall of Fame elite, the approach to the game. You talked about him on the sideline, Skip.
Yeah.
Guess what? Michael Irvin is one of the best ever at all time in any sport to have that level of approach to the game. There's a reason special players are super special, Hall of Famers in the most elite level. He's not there in that category.
Every once in a while, AD is as special as anybody.
Yes.
He had a 10-game stretch last year where he went to
100%.
Philadelphia and destroyed Joel Embiid.
Which is why I'm not trading him.
I know, I got it. And then game 2 this year against Phoenix, I look back at these numbers and I say, remember this night, Keyshawn? He went, this is AD, 30, 12, and 2 with 3 steals and 3 blocks.
Yes.
Okay, you indict yourself. Like, now, can you give me some of that against Sacramento? Sacramento has now beaten the Los Angeles Lakers 6 of the last 7 times because De'Aaron Fox says, I toy with you guys. De'Aaron has averaged 30 and 7 assists over the last 7 games against the Lakers. Schroeder won a game up there in Sacramento making 2 late free throws last year. That's the only game they've won. My point is, wouldn't at some point you feel shamed enough on your home court to go out and say, hey, that's enough, De'Aaron Fox. Watch this. LeBron said that last night. LeBron showed up. He played. He gave you all at age going on 39 he could give you. He gave you a triple-double. And he was all alone, all dressed up and nowhere to go, even at home, right? Because there was no AD.
Rachel,
9 and 9.
You've been covering these guys for a long time, and you talk to people in the locker room and all that. Let me ask you this, because I'm trying to figure it out. Is AD the type of player, individual, that if somebody approached him like a LeBron and just, talk to him a certain way, is he the Kobe way or the Michael Jordan way or the Magic way? Is he going to all of a sudden dip lower?
You mean become too defeated and upset?
No. By the way,
people have tried everything, every different approach, and he is who he is. He's turning 31 years old. And by the way, who he is great. You pointed to the 8-game stretch last year, Skip. He absolutely has stood up and said, not on my court, De'Aaron Fox. He stood up and said, I'm not taking this anymore. He just doesn't do it every single night.
Why, though?
But Keyshawn, everybody can't be great. Then there wouldn't be great. Great wouldn't be a distinction, right? Everybody can't be great at everything. He is great at many different things, but he is not the most consistent guy in the world, and he is never going to be the most consistent guy. And if you were special in every single category, you'd be a different player.
So why keep telling us he's special?
Well,
why
look,
keep doing that?
Because the Lakers want him to be that. LeBron wants him to be that. That is why he has continually tried to say it's AD's team. He's passing the torch. LeBron is one of the smartest guys in sports. He knows that if AD could become that, he'd win another ring. He knows that if AD could become that, it would ensure the Lakers franchise for the next 5 years. So everybody wants him to be that. But the problem is Anthony Davis is not one of the most elite players of all time. He is not. He is a great player and an NBA champion, and trying to expect him to be more than that is unrealistic. You know who this guy is. He's turning 31 years old. He's been in the league for 12 years.
Okay, so Keyshawn, remember last Friday, sitting in Rachel's chair was our man Wayne, who said, as a lifelong Laker fan, I've just seen enough. I'm done with him. I can't stand watching him anymore. We have to move him sooner than later. This year, he needs to be moved. And I turned to Wayne and I said, AD is becoming the all-time damned if you do or damned if you don't. Because if you trade him, you don't have those nights against Phoenix because every once in a while he rises up and you say, well, you can't get enough back to fill that hole, right?
More than every once in a while,
yeah,
isn't it?
And so at some point, you're damned if you don't because if you trade him, you're not going to have the nuclear capability that he brings on occasion, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to get somebody back who can do that on occasion.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
You go back to last year, you think about late in the year, it was odd and even, or even and odd, whichever one it was, with AD.
Yeah.
At some point, though, don't you have to say, you know what? It's just not worth what we wanted, and when we acquired him, it's just not worth it, even though you may not get back, like you say, Rachel, all of that back from some other trades or players. You may not get it, but do you continue to kick the can down the road? At some point, you got to figure out, it's just not worth it.
You're measuring between what you want and what's falling short of that. You're not measuring between what's realistic, both for AD as a player and in the trade market, and how far he is or isn't falling short of that and what you can get for him. And by the way, if the rest of the team played better, the nights when Anthony Davis wasn't great, elite, the most best ever, then it wouldn't matter as much. And you have a Lakers team right now that is 20th in defensive rating. That is the bottom two-thirds of the league. You have a Lakers team that is dead last in second chance points allowed. They have a lot of problems on that end of the floor. And Austin Reeves, by the way, who all three of us like, who all three of us sat here before the season and had great expectations for, has not been the player we wanted him to be.
He's been inconsistent.
And by the way, the key, the magic with this team last year with Austin Reeves was his combination with LeBron, right? During the playoffs, I want to give you a number. Last year during the playoffs, when Austin Reeves and LeBron were on the floor together, plus 85. This year, minus 16 when they're on the court together. So if Austin Reeves can't be that unlocker, who can't be that perfect complement, the shooter LeBron needs toward the end of games, that is its own problem. It puts more pressure to make AD a player that he is not necessarily is.
Last quick point, and you can speak to this. It's so hard to completely condemn Anthony Davis because every night after a stinker, he sits in front of his locker and completely owns it. You can't blame him because he blames himself. He said last night, I played like SH. It's as simple as that. Like, so you want to blast him and you say, oh, this poor guy. He's at least he's accepting the blame. It's hard to live with that.
Yeah, I don't want to blast him. I don't know. I don't know. I've always thought he was going to be great to a whole nother level because that's what I was told. That's what I was sold. I bought it, and then I get last night.
He's one of the best players of his era. He is not one of the best players of all time. And the sooner people understand and accept that and see who he is, the more it will be easier to deal with nights like last night, Keyshawn, as a Lakers fan, and understand that you have a great, great piece on that team. He is just not the guy who is going to take over and become LeBron James right now, or maybe ever.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Up next, we're talking Mac Jones and Belichick. Is Mac Jones now done in New England? Is Belichick?
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.